Have you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home? Don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Lambstone Company's selection of natural stone products to meet all your project needs. Lambstone is located in Oneonta, Alabama, is one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. So contact them today. Tell them we sent you by using the promo code the Bama Standard to receive 10% off your first order. Remember the promo code the Bama Standard. What is going on, everybody? Let's go ahead and add this to the stage real quick. So today we're going to be doing a watch party for Jonaz Walton. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've felt like he's going to be going to the Irish for I would say since April, beginning of April time frame. But either way, we're here for it. We've seen crazier happen, but I do feel like he is a Notre Dame lean. But either way, if you haven't already, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be the only one in here today getting this done because I'm the only one right now with I have a day off in the middle of the week and the others don't. So you guys get to look at my beautiful face under this, and it's going to be starting in about 11 and a half minutes here. Me personally, Brock says, how are we feeling about it? As a player, amazing. You know what I mean? So let me go over some of his traits and stuff like that. I'll bring that up. I've been keeping up with him for about 10, 11 months. Feel really good about him. I don't know. Do we have any, Alex, are you an Irish fan? Notre Dame fan? Let's see here. So with that being said, before he gets on here and we let these guys take over on 3, what we're looking at here is Jonaz is 4-star running back, number 10 running back in this class, 132 nationally. He's definitely a top tier running back, right? Out of Carrollton, Georgia, plays for Central, high-powered school, 5'9", 190 pounds. And I know a lot of people are going to say 5'9", 190 pounds. He reminds me of a running style of like Mark Ingram, right? He's got an extremely strong lower base, right? So from the hips down, the dude is a monster when it comes to running. Great elusiveness, stuff like that. But with that being said, he's choosing between, in case you guys didn't see the thumbnail already, Alabama, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Florida, and Georgia. And here's my key takeaways from this. In all honesty, I'm not going to sit in here and BS you guys the whole time. He set his commitment date after he got a visit from the Notre Dame running back coach, Jonaz Cedar. Hopefully I said his name right. Sorry if I didn't. But he ended up visiting him, I believe, at his school. And 2 days later, he actually set his commitment date, and which did not give him enough time to even get his OV, his official visit, to anywhere, but specifically Alabama, who was trying to turn him at the time. But I think the moment Crowell, right? So Xavier Crowell, and then you add on Ryan Estrada, looks like a heavy lean to Alabama after Crowell actually committed, which we know commitments mean nothing, right? Until you sign that line. And even then, people are going to bring up the NIL. But either way, it seemed like at that moment, Jonaz was probably not going to be an Alabama lean. But like I said, you never know. We've seen crazier. But if I had to crystal ball this, I'm definitely saying he's going to Notre Dame. He did get a Wiltfong. I always say get a Wiltfong to Notre Dame. Look, that dude's rarely wrong as well. So if you don't keep up with him, you don't have him on Twitter, and you follow recruiting, something's wrong. He's visited Notre Dame twice since January, including their junior day. And he said he will return the 13th and did not mention anything about going back to another school. And I think that pretty much gave away where he was going to go at that point. But once again, you never know with these guys. Things change at a very rapid pace for them. And just because Jonaz says he's going to commit today to Notre Dame doesn't mean he's going to go to Notre Dame, right? There's a long National Signing Day in February. We got early signing day, obviously, in December. We'll say until December. And then you got National Signing Day in February. So there's a lot can happen in between that time frame. I'm sure he's still going to take his visits, but he does have visits planned right now for, I believe, Alabama. I know for a fact he has one, I think, June 13th with Tennessee. I think the one for Alabama is like June 20th, somewhere around that time frame. But either way, you just never know what can happen with these guys and where they can go. But either way, he's considered a power back, very strong lower frame. He doesn't have the fifth gear, but definitely he's not going to pull away from you every time against like 4.3 DBs, right? So, but definitely fast. So don't get it twisted in that sense. In my opinion, a really, really, really good running back you want on the staff. And if Marcus Freeman can pull him to Notre Dame, they're going to have a good. He's gonna have to compete because they have a pretty stout running back. They just got in this class as well. I believe he was the 8th ranked or 7th ranked running back in that class. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but he's going to have some work to do to compete in the backfield. So, and I think that's what it came down to. And a lot of Alabama fans will say, well, once Xavier Crowell committed, that's when he probably decided not to. I'm not going to say that. I would go as far as saying Xavier Crowell was not the decision maker in this. I think what could have affected it, if he does commit to the Irish, right? If he does, I think it was going to be the Ryan Estrada offer, and then seeing how much Alabama was going after Ryan Estrada. Now at that point, you're kind of stacking the room a little bit, right? It's one thing to compete with one other guy in one class. When you're talking about 2 others in one class, and then potentially others in the class in front of you or behind you, it gets to be a little bit of a different situation. So, but all of that being said, yeah, and of course, Notre Dame fans are flooding everywhere. You do have the occasional Gators in the chat and occasional Alabama fans like me who love recruiting and keep up with recruiting and just want to see these guys go somewhere and be successful. Because at the end of the day, even if he doesn't go to Alabama, I hope he does a great job, just like with all the rest of the recruits. You don't want to wish bad upon any of these guys. So either way, it looks like we're coming to 6 minutes. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got for him. He is a consensus 4-star, which is not surprising. That means On3, 247, ESPN and Rivals all have him as a 4-star. On3 has him as the 6th best, or On3 has him, as the 6th ranked running back. Consensus, though, is 10th, because what they do is they use all 4 and they combine them. More to my On3, 247, ESPN and Rivals. Now it won't only be 3 because On3 is actually acquiring Rivals, right? So it'll just be On3, 247, ESPN, and then you'll have the consensus rating that way. And as of this morning, they have Notre Dame at 81%, Alabama at 5, Tennessee at 3, Florida at 2, and Georgia at 2. And then, yeah, you're not even going to mention the other ones. So either way, definitely let me know in the comments where you guys think he's going to go. It seems like everybody's going to be heading toward the Irish in that perspective. And I don't blame them because, like I said, almost everything you read for the past, I would say 2 weeks, has been favored towards Marcus Freeman. I believe the moment he brought up Marcus Freeman up when it was a done deal, in his last interview, it wasn't just about Cedar, right? The running back coach, great running back coach, by the way. But he talked about building a relationship and it's starting to feel like family. And the moment you hear a recruit talking about, okay, it's starting to feel like family, you know what I mean? Then you start leaning, okay, he's talking about family with this program, not with this other program, probably leaning in that direction. So, Michael, no more Saban era McDonald's bags. Brother, you mean everybody? Look, let's not get it twisted. Everybody's always cheated, in my opinion, and they're still cheating right now. Trust me. We just don't know how they're cheating, right? There's just a different form of cheating, probably. So let's not get it twisted. Everybody's always had that advantage. You have the opportunity, and to be completely honest with you, I believe the Irish may have a bigger advantage. You're a private school. You don't have to release numbers. You don't have to release any of that information. So the money you spend on your program is completely sealed, and nobody has the information on it, not what you pay the coach or anything. Now, whether or not they come out and say what they're paid, that's one thing. But as far as the private school status thing, everything they pay them or they tell them stays behind those closed doors. It's not released to the public. So, but I feel you. Rutherford, roll tide, brother. If you guys have any questions, let me know. It should be starting here soon. Let me go over because I know you guys see it. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And then guys, what's going to happen? The screen's going to pop up. They're going to be still setting up probably because like every single commitment, they're never ready on time. We're going to wait 5 to 10 more minutes probably. And then it's going to be another speech from the coach. It's going to be a speech from, a cousin or a brother or something like that. And then they'll get around to the actual announcement, which is going to take 10 to 15 more minutes, it feels like. So very rarely do you see these guys come in and it already be set up. And that has nothing to do with the recruit. It has everything to do with either On3 or 24/7 Sport. But I think 24/7 in my opinion, is probably the worst. On3 seems to be kind of on their game because they don't have this huge celebration going on like 24/7 does. But it's kind of more simplistic in my opinion. But either way, like I said, let me know in the comments where you think he'll end up attending for the next 3 to 4 years, possibly if he doesn't transfer. That's another thing. My God, man. I love recruiting, guys. Recruiting is like my thing. I've studied recruiting for a long time, right? So I follow these guys. I do the best I can to learn the game through that aspect. But NIL has made it tough, right? Because you see these guys come in for 1 year and leave, and then they go somewhere else and leave, and they go somewhere else and leave. It's just a consistent cycle of chaos and BS. So, yeah. And I don't know. I think things have to get worse before they get better. But hopefully, this whole committee thing with Saban and those guys can maybe straighten out some of this, put a regulation on it somehow. I think people are getting it twisted as well. You know, revenue sharing and NIL are not the same thing. You know what I mean? There needs to be regulation on revenue sharing, but not NIL, because people want to bring up, well, there's a salary cap for the NFL, and y'all are correct. You know, there is a salary cap for the NFL, but you know, Aaron Rodgers can go do a Subway commercial, which would be the NIL part, right? And he doesn't have a cap. So as far as the revenue sharing, though, from the schools, there needs to be a cap on it, right? Where the schools give every player a certain amount of money based on that. And then if the players get an opportunity to represent Subway or somebody else or whatever that may look like, it doesn't need to be capped. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it is kind of crazy seeing like 18-year-olds immediately coming out making like $2.5–3 million. I wish I was more athletically gifted, to say the least. I wouldn't be behind this microphone, maybe, but I love what I do. Yeah. I figure there's going to be quite a few Irish coming in here as well. Roll Tide for life, Michael. Absolutely, hands down. And look, Alabama's got some big commitments coming up as well, by the way. Let me bring up the list, actually, of a couple we have coming up. Let's see. Obviously, Sadarian Morgan's a big one. Everybody's waiting on if you're a Bama fan. Xavier Crowell, I wish he would release his date he was going to commit. In December 31st is not the date, by the way. He's going to change it. So everything says December 31st. That's not going to be the case. Let's see here. We got Sadarian Morgan July 2nd at noon, which is the one I'm really looking forward to. Booby Feaster or Ethan Feaster, right? July 4th. So on July 4th, it's crazy. It's not released the time yet. That's a wild one to me. Emmanuel Iheanacho is releasing or committing August 5th. I think he's definitely not going to be an Alabama lean either, but Alabama is in that mix. Brian Harris, May 23rd. Anthony Tank Jones, is the one I'm really looking forward to, right? So if you guys don't know who Tank Jones is, go watch some film. This dude is a monster, right? So either way, his is going to be June 23rd at 2:30 p.m. If everybody's going to be watching that, everybody will be watching. I promise. Here we go. I just heard it turn on. So what I'll do is when they actually get to the commitment where he's going to commit, that's when I'll turn my microphone towards the computer and do it that way. So other than that, unless you guys want to hear some boring music and not me talk, it's up to you. Let's see here, Michael. But the scary part about that, there, $2 million to unproven. Exactly. And, you know, I can understand that concept because they're unproven in college, but don't we do the same thing to NFL players, right? So they're unproven in the NFL. We see these guys bust all the time and stuff like that. So like I said, when it gets closer, I'll let you guys, I'll turn the microphone to that and listen to it that way. Otherwise, they're just going to sit here and talk and they're just going to be talking a bunch of BS essentially about who's coming up and everything else. So let me see here. I got a voice message that came in. All right, so I'll hold off on that. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. So nationally win 23rd. Yeah, position 10th. And that's going to be through the consensus, by the way. So, yeah, and I agree, Brock. We're not going to skip. Yeah, no, I don't think we're going to get him at all. I think, honestly, we were in the running until Ryan Estrada came aboard. And once Ryan Estrada came on, He isn't committed, but it seems like he's going to be a commit, right? I think Jonaz kind of was like, you know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying we just could have got him either way. Notre Dame finally throwing money around the country has been placed on those. Yeah, that's it. You're absolutely correct, Kyler. I agree with you 1,000%. You have to spend money to make money and get these recruits. There's no getting around it. NIL has leveled the playing field of some sort. In the long term, I don't believe it's going to still work out right in that sense, because you're still going to have the blue bloods and you're still going to have the Irish. They draw in a lot of money, right? So let's not get it twisted. It may not be Texas money. Only Texas has Texas money, right? But when you're talking about overall, I think it's kind of even the playing field a little bit. Steven, see, NFL is different because it doesn't matter if you're a proven or it's not based on how the team values you. The pick they choose you with each spot $1. Yeah, okay, so there you go, 100% correct. So I give you that 1,000%. I didn't think about it from that perspective. So I guess really you can look at it. Maybe we can make that adjustment. So let me go ahead and turn on the volume and see what he's saying. That way you guys can stop listening to me and hear the recruit.
How did these programs make your final list?
I gotta say, like, all these 5 schools, they've kept constant communication with me. I mean, I know a lot of schools have offered, but not a lot of schools have been communicated, and this is week-to-week basis. And then all 5 of these schools, they produce numerous amounts of great running backs. I mean, you can go to Alabama, you don't have to name any. There's 10. I mean, there's like 3.
Let me know if you can't hear it
right now. And then Tennessee, same. Dylan Sampson just got drafted, and same thing with Alvin Kamara. And then Florida, same thing. Jaden Ball, he's up from a freshman. He had 5 touchdowns last season. First game started. Stanford, Christian McCaffrey, and the Notre Dame, the potential Heisman winner next year, Jeremiah Love. Like, these schools, they have a great history of producing running backs, as well as all of these running back coaches. They're my top 5 running back coaches. Like, I love all of them. I believe all of them. I feel like they can help me see it at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these programs, but today you're going to pick one. So the moment's here. The floor is yours. Say your thank yous and let us know where you're committing to college.
So first, I gotta thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I know none of this would be possible without Him and my God-given abilities. And then I want to thank all my coaches, everybody who's poured into me and given me a chance to play and taught me new things that they wanted me to know. And then I also want to thank teachers. Like, I feel like they're kind of underestimated. Like, they really helped me a lot. And then I ever needed a question. Every single job I've had, they've been amazing. And then also, I want to thank my auntie, one right here. Second mom, best friend, like, she does everything. If I ever need anything, she's gonna get it for me. And even if I don't ask, I'll say I want it, she's still gonna get it. And then I want to thank my younger brother, Jace, right here. I had an opportunity to play with him last season. I'm still am. This season, my senior year, it's good having someone push me, and I'm glad I was able to teach him some things. And then he's also taught me some things and made me a better person and pushed me hard. I have someone that's looking up to me. Then I also want to thank my older brother right here, Julius. Like, I got to play with him my freshman year and his senior year, and he was at the end. I had to block him, and he made me look awful. But, like, I feel like he definitely made me look. He definitely helped me build my game, and it was good to have this competition. And then I want to thank my mom. I mean, greatest mom in the world. Like, I can't say anything better. You know how moms are. They're gonna do anything they can for you. And then I want to thank my dad. There's so many things I can say about my dad. From yelling at me to do something I forgot, to giving me something I said I didn't want, to telling me to do my therapy at, like, after practice if I'm hurt, and, like, just he's the greatest dad in the world. And I can't say enough about him. So that being said, I'll spend the next 3 to 5 years at University of Notre Dame.
Definitely figured that was going to
happen. Jonaz Walton heading to South Bend.
Walton to the Irish. There is no surprise with that, in my opinion. Another key indicator that he was going to the Irish, by the way. And yes, Piano Man nailed it as well. Notre Dame has old money. Congratulations to the Irish, by the way. To Notre Dame, you got a hell of a running back, right? So let's not get it twisted. Just because he didn't go to Bama doesn't mean he's not awesome. He's not great. That's why I do these live streams. That's why I talk about these recruits, no matter what, whether they commit to Alabama or not. They all deserve the attention. They work hard for what they're getting at the end of the day, right? So that's why we do what we do. Yeah, Osborne. Yeah, Osborne is the other one you guys got, right? Osborne was, I believe, the 7th ranked running back in this class as well, and he just committed. So, yeah, you guys are stacked at the running back position for the next couple of years for sure. I think Alabama will end up with Crowell and Estrada, to be honest with you. So there's no winner, in my opinion, between Alabama and Notre Dame when it comes to that. I think both teams are going to end up with hell of a set of running backs, no matter which way you look at it. But either way, just wanted to say congratulations to the Irish. Obviously, getting Jonaz Walton. You know, as a Bama fan, of course, you don't want to see this because I think he's a hell of a running back. You know, I love to have him, but, you know, it is what it is. So, with that being said, everybody, I appreciate you guys getting on here. I'm not going to be on here for an hour talking about this. I appreciate Brock, right? So Alex, for getting on here, Michael, Bob, see, Sunchance Kid. Look, guys, subscribe if you're on here already, right? So we don't just talk about Alabama. We do stuff like this all the time as well. I do a lot of recruiting videos. We have some great people on here. We just had, you know, the legend from Alabama himself, Tony Brown, on last night on Tuesday night. So we've had AJ McCarron. We've had legends on here. We got, you know what, speaking of legends, let's bring out one right now. Al Sanders is on here, right? So the negative free zone. Never forget that. Al, appreciate you getting on here, obviously. Appreciate you, Steven. Let's see here. Kyler, Vic, Christopher, Brock. Already said Michael. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. And 10 Toes Tall getting in here. You came in late on the last one, too. The very end. We are in a game of money now, and Alabama's going to struggle. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's going to be really necessarily a struggle. We're doing pretty well right now, and we got some stuff lined up coming up here soon, right? We end up with Sedarian Morgan. We end up with Jet. We end up with a couple of these kids. You're talking about, you know, once again, a top 5, top 3 recruiting class. So I don't know what you consider struggling. It's definitely not what it used to be, but either way, I appreciate everybody getting on here. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out the other live streams we have on this channel, by the way. I host a show every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Central, College Football Chatter. That's what you see in the background there. It's going to be me, Ty Hayes, Dan James, right? Coach Sean, Brinsky, Coach Al comes on every now and then, Coach Carl, all of them, right? So Jay from Unfair Sports. Want to shout out to everybody out there doing their thing for sure. Jason. Yep. Other than that, everybody have a good day. And as always, let me go ahead and turn this up for you guys.
Roll down Tide.
There you go.